time to think about food because it's time for Meals with Monsignor Michael Billian. Again, Monsignor will be sharing a recipe today. It is already posted on our website. If you go to annunciationradio.com, click on Morning Offering. You'll see not only today's recipe, but all the past recipes as well. Good morning, Monsignor Billian.
Well, good morning to you. How's everybody doing this morning?
We're good. I mean, we're all looking at the recipe, and I think we all have different interpretations of how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you the way I would say it, and most normal people. Amatriciana.
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
a great encounter that I have with food that I have had and was introduced in when I was in Rome. And I thought today for two reasons. Today is the feast day of St. Sixtus the Second, man who met his martyrdom inside the catacombs of St. Callistus while he was saying Mass there, because I have had the opportunity to say Mass in those catacombs where he was martyred. It brought me to Rome, so I thought about this recipe. And secondly, everybody's got lots of cherry tomatoes coming out in the tomato plant in these weeks. So I wanted to use a recipe that you could use some of those cherry tomatoes. So we're going to look at Bucatini Amatriciana, a beautiful recipe with the meat highlight of the recipe is guanciale. Now, I've talked about guanciale before. It is literally the pig's cheek. So it's the cheek of a pig. And so, and it's the part of the pig that's not smoked. It's not like bacon. Some people think you can just do bacon on guanciale. That's not true. Because guanciale is not smoked where bacon is. So if you use bacon, it changes the whole taste of what you're enjoying. So you want to use a cured meat. So you can use usually you should use guanciale, but you can't find that anywhere. You can always substitute as a secondary thing, not the best, pancetta. And pancetta is pretty more regularly able to be found. So we use this guanciale. You're gonna carve the rind off the outside of the guanciale and cut it into thin strips. Now, Pat, don't cut off all the fat. You have to have the fat. Okay?
How did you know I was going to ask that? Yeah, go ahead.
You need it. You need every strip needs to have some of the lean meat and the fat to stay there. So you cut those in strips, set those aside. You're going to have all your cherry tomatoes. Then you're going to peel the tomatoes. You have to go.
But Monsignor, you're breaking up.
up.
You're breaking up a little bit. Maybe you can step 2 steps to the left or something. I don't know.
Well, literally, I'm in a rest area on the Ohio Turnpike on my way to Monsignor Mormon's funeral. So
that's right.
So I could stop at a rest site. So I don't know what's going to happen here.
Now we hear you fine.
So far, so good.
Yep.
All right, so I'll try to
Stay right
lean
there.
the way I'm leaning in the car at the moment. Okay, so you're going to take the peeled tomatoes, whether you get them in a can or whether you get them from your own garden. Peel those tomatoes and put them in a bowl and crush them with your hands. Just squeeze them a lot. Crush them right down. If you don't like to touch things like that, you can use a blender, but your hands work great. Then take your skillet. Make sure it's not a little one because you're going to put all this stuff eventually into the skillet. And over a low heat, put the guanciale. And let the guanciale, you don't need to put any oil in because the fat, Pat, that you've left on there is going to be the oil that we're going to cook in. So you're going to put the guanciale in about 5 minutes. Stir it occasionally until you can see that the fat has been rendered a bit. And you're going to reserve a small, wait till it gets crispy, a little crispy. And then take part of it out and reserve it for the end because you're going to top each bowl with a little bit of that guanciale. Then, with the rest of the guanciale in that pan, you're going to put the cherry tomatoes in and cook them for about 5 minutes, just occasionally stirring them until they become a little soft. Then pour in all your crushed tomatoes and just stir and combine it for a while. Turn the heat up a little bit and then season it lightly with sea salt and simmer for about 20 minutes. Let those flavors kind of join together and help each other come out a bit. And while you're doing that, you can start boiling the water for the bucatini. The bucatini pasta is a beautiful pasta. It's a heavy spaghetti-like pasta, only it has a hole in the middle of the pasta. So the sauce gets to kind of move inside the pasta as you mix it up. So cook that bucatini a little less than they tell you to be al dente. So probably about 10 minutes, because it's going to cook a little more when you mix it in the sauce. Put a little cracked pepper then into that saucepan where you've got the tomatoes and guanciale blending together, and then throw a handful of Pecorino Romano cheese. Beautiful, little spiced cheese. It's delicious. Just put a handful of it in, and then before you take the pasta out of the pot, reserve a good cup of that water, because we're going to use it in a few minutes. Take the pasta, put it right into the pan with the tomatoes and the guanciale, toss it, and then you'll need to splash probably a little bit of that reserved pasta water just to help the sauce blend together with the pasta a little better, until that becomes kind of evenly covers all the pasta and becomes a little glossy. Then take another big handful of that Pecorino Romano cheese and toss it until it's completely blended together. Then you get to divide it into your serving bowls and sprinkle a little bit of that leftover guanciale we set aside earlier, and put a little more Pecorino Romano cheese, and if you'd like a little bit of black pepper, grind a little bit on top of there, and then simply enjoy it then. The wonderful amatriciana with the bucatini pasta, great Roman dish. Just a little caution, don't overdo the salt in the beginning, because both the guanciale and the cheese is a little salty, so you don't need a lot of salt with it. And make sure you never, when you use Pecorino Romano or any cheese in a sauce, make sure you don't boil the sauce. Don't let it get that hot, because then the cheese becomes a little grainy and gritty a bit, and you don't want that to happen. But it's a delightful dish, a great way to celebrate the feast of the great early martyr, early Pope Sixtus II, and enjoy some great tomatoes. So what a way to spend a Friday morning, mixing this up and having it for supper tonight.
Now, obviously, I have questions. So, the bucatini and the
bucatini is that's a kind of pasta.
Yeah. So is that? Can you just find that in a store? Because my question is always about where can I find this stuff. So, like the pig's cheek.
Well, generally, in a butcher shop, you can find all of these things, like at Sofo's Mart in Toledo.
Okay.
They always have guanciale there. But bucatini you generally find in a store that handles more than just one or two kinds of pasta.
Okay.
One of the big Kroger stores or things like that. Yep.
So the cheese that you use, should you get does that come grated, or should you get like a hunk of it and grate it yourself? Is there one way that's better than another, or is there only one way to get it?
No, you can get it either way. If you like to grate your own and try not to grate your knuckles at the same time, that's a wonderful thing.
Okay.
But you can get it finely grated, and generally it's recently grated. It's not like processed cheese, but recently grated.
Got it. Okay. All right. That answers my questions. This looks really good.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Well, enjoy the recipe.
I will.
Well, I appreciate the recipe, and of course, you always present recipes that we get to do hands-on in the kitchen, and I think that kind of unites you a little closer to what you're preparing, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Safe travels, Monsignor.
Thank you, Monsignor.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Yeah, be
Bye-bye.
careful on the turnpike there.
Yeah.
Again, you can find that recipe at AnnunciationRadio.com and all others that Monsignor shared. AnnunciationRadio.com. Click on Morning Offering.